learned that if you love something long enough, eventually you're going to watch Hollywood destroy it. And if you're like me, you may tell yourself, no, maybe they'll leave this one alone. And you know that they won't, but you hold on to the copium anyway.
I did this for Lord of the Rings so bad. Surely Rings of Power is not going to be bad. It's going to be just fine. 2 minutes later, they bought the rights for like The Hobbit, not the Silmarillion. It's like, oh god. Oh no. Oh no. Are you going to make it? You're going to make a story about the things happening in the Silmarillion, but you're not going to buy the rights for the Silmarillion? Oh no.
Yeah. Like vultures, we have watched Hollywood descend on fandom after fandom over the last decade, picking Star Wars clean to the bone, sucking the life out of Marvel, butchering Lord of the Rings with a $1 billion budget, and if it is not a sequel...
There you have her. Rings of Power Destroyer. I always do reverse psychology on this one, I'm not gonna lie. Being a positive Andy, I'm always like, we got the Peter Jackson trilogy. Let's be honest, we got the Peter Jackson trilogy. And it was beautiful. Spin-off. Oh, sorry. And it was beautiful.
Lord of the Rings with a $1 billion budget, and if it is not a sequel or a spin-off, it's a live-action remake. Snow White, Little Mermaid, Pinocchio. They even got their hands on Avatar, The Last Airbender, one of my favorite shows of all time, and it actually hurts to talk about, I won't lie. And then they just scurry over to the next carcass as if nothing has happened. At this point, if it was ever animated, just assume a live action is coming. I don't know, I give it 2 more years maybe before we get live action Shrek. Also, please excuse my sick voice in this video, I'm sorry. I went to a Twice concert last week and someone there got me really good. But as a Harry Potter fan, I have gotta say, we've actually...
What's a Twice concert? Wait, you went 2 times to 1 concert?
Had it pretty good so far. The Universal parks are amazing. Hogwarts Legacy was a really fun game. I do, try to block out the Fantastic Beasts movies, but...
Let's talk about it then. Let's just call a spade a spade. They were not that great. They were, you know what I mean? Like, credit where credit is due, they are consumable. Like, I've watched all of these once. I think once, yeah. And the first one maybe a couple times. And listen. Watching them one time is good enough. These are good movies, don't take me wrong. It's not like I was unhappy that I saw them. It's just that they're so like modern. And when they're modern like that, it's just kind of, it's just bad. Yeah, I don't know how to say it. They lack the spark that Harry Potter has. They lack the spark. It's just like, it's kind of like manufactured. All these, there's like Hollywood manufactured. They have like a flavor to them that they're all like the same. You can watch the Avengers and you can watch Fantastic Beasts, and they're basically like in some weird way they're the same. You get what I'm saying? Like it's just like, it's, you know what it's like? It's exactly like people who make games on Unreal Engine 5. It just, all the games that come out, I could just tell. I don't know. It's just the same flavor. Every time it comes out of Unreal Engine 5, it's the same game.
But overall, pretty good. So when HBO announced they were remaking Harry Potter, my first thought was, why? Oh. My second thought was also, why? But I tried to remain hopeful because, I mean, who knows? I don't know, maybe they'll be able to do it justice somehow, right? Then the more I learned about it, the less hopeful I became. A little over a week ago, they finally dropped the first trailer across the internet and racked up 277 million views in 48 hours, breaking every record HBO has. And while we don't know how this series is going to turn out, it's hard not to notice the pattern of Hollywood hijacking beloved worlds and thinking they know better. I was blessed to grow up with a very loving and very nerdy dad. He is the one who introduced me to Star Wars, Star Trek, Harry Potter, Lord of the Rings, Marvel, and...
Oh, W Dad, hello? Hello, can I get an applause, dude? Oh my goodness, that's a W Dad right there. My dad was the same. Loved Lord of the Rings, right? We watched that a lot. He was also more into Star Wars. I never really got the Star Wars part. Mainly because I thought it just looked so bad, bro. Honestly, Star Wars needs a remake. Out of all the things, if Star Wars came up with a remake, I feel like that would fit. Because the old ones are they're just, I don't know. I've noticed movies made after 2000, they don't got that cheapness with them. You get what I'm saying? But Star Wars, they're just like, fuck, 1995 or something, right? They just don't, it's just like too old. That is what makes Star Wars so great, though. No, okay, I'm not gonna start fights here. No, it is not true. Star Wars is too old. It is too old. I'm sorry. Wait, can I find like a Star Wars scene? Look at some of these scenes. Like, nah, dude. Look at that explosion. You can't tell me. Dude, I watched literally less than 5 seconds and I found dog shit. Look at that. Oh my goodness. Still good? You guys are coping so hard, by the way. I've never seen chat cope this hard before. I'll extend an olive branch. Star Wars is okay, but the story is what is good, and the graphics of the movie is terrible. I think that's fair. Dude, The Boy was made in 1977. My dad was like, what, 3 years old or something, right? Like, my boomer dad was 3 years old when this was made. Like, this is prehistoric. I bet Jesus signed a copy of Star Wars. I mean, if you really want to go there. Remakes are usually trash. I mean, true. But I feel like it's... okay, hot take. I think remakes are trash because of the current environment of the people who make the remakes. Not because like the idea of a remake is bad. So let's give it another 20 years. Let's do a handshake. Give it another 20 years. And then when Hollywood is like burnt down and rebuilt, another remake of Star Wars.
So many others. He is a big reason my childhood was full of stories about courage, sacrifice, friendship, redemption, stories about good defeating evil. And like so many people, these stories mean a lot to me. And for the last decade plus, I have watched Hollywood slowly warp, deconstruct, and hollow out almost all of them through reboots, sequels, and adaptations, not building on them or honoring them, but chewing them up and spitting them back out as this decrepit, creatively bankrupt version of themselves that no one would watch if it didn't have a beloved name attached to it. Because that's kind of
true. They're like the chum bucket from SpongeBob, right? Like you have the Krusty Krab with the delicious burgers, that's like the old versions. And then you have the chum bucket. They like chewed up trash, right? I mean, pretty fair, honestly.
The whole trick, right? They can't get you in the door with their own ideas anymore, so they hold your favorite story hostage and then they bank on the fact that you love it too much not to show up, or they threaten to cast Jared Leto, which in Tron Ares' case, they unfortunately did both. But it doesn't matter if the product is good, it just has to be familiar. And finally, it is Harry Potter's turn. I think I knew deep down they were going to come for it eventually. I just didn't expect it to be so soon, you know? The original films only ended in 2011, and they all still hold up incredibly well. I go back and rewatch them almost every year. Plus, there are so many other stories you could tell in the wizarding world. The founding of Hogwarts, the Marauders.
Dude, perfect example. Harry Potter, early 2000s, guess what? Still watchable today. I watch Harry Potter probably every year, every other year. All of them. Right? It's so good. Star Wars. If I put it on, Grandma gets excited. Because she remembered it when she was a kid, you know? I'm just saying. Not to beat a dead horse.
Era. something totally original. That is what Hogwarts Legacy did, and it sold over 40 million copies. Clearly, people are still interested.
I did finish
in this world.
Hogwarts, but
there
I heard
really
it
was
was
no need to retell the one story we already have a good version of, but here we are. The thing is, if this really were about giving us something new, they would just do that. But an original Wizarding World story might not come with millions of trailer views or a like to dislike ratio that's getting pretty close to being ratioed. Yes, I did do my part. But Harry, Ron, Hermione, Hogwarts, the places and characters that you are already emotionally attached to, those will get the views. And this show is airing on HBO because nothing says magical childhood wonder like the network that also brought you Euphoria. Now, I know HBO is owned by Warner Brothers, but it also kind of tells you who this really is for. The adults who are already emotionally attached to this story, not necessarily a new generation of kids.
No, but that can't be true. Surely they're not thinking, oh, I'm gonna remake Harry Potter for people like me who already love it. There's no way. That's so dumb. I'm just gonna watch the original, right? Why would I watch the remake? I mean, the show literally. When did the Hollow finish? The last Hollow, Deadliest Hollow. When did that finish? Like 2019? So, yeah, it's been only a couple of years. Damn, it's nearly a decade now.
I have seen so far just feels very off. Certain characters look and feel uncanny, like Hagrid, who looks just like they found a regular guy.
That's Hagrid? That's not... Hagrid is supposed to be Puffy! No! No, I love the original Hagrid. No, I don't like it. No. Dude, he looks malnourished. I'm just calling it. If the movie comes out and Hagrid is not seriously obese, I'm gonna be disappointed.
And then made him stand near shorter people. There's no whimsy anywhere. It is dark, moody, cold. There were moments that I actually couldn't even see anything in the scene because HBO has this weird obsession with making things look like there was a power outage. Even the trailer music feels so generic versus the incredibly iconic soundtrack that we are used to. Now, HBO did drop a behind-the-scenes special this past weekend, but
afterwards.
Before I get into that, a quick thank you to today's sponsor, Raycon.
Well, spring is upon us, which means the sun has decided to start targeting me through my...
Oh, it's her. I thought it was like B-roll, like random B-roll.
My windows until I go
Fine,
outside.
I am reacting.
I live right by some hiking trails, and I have been getting back out there now that the weather is warming up, and I really like bringing my Raycon open earbuds with me so I can listen to music and still hear the world around me. Birds, the crunch of leaves, a bear growling in the distance. You know, all the essentials. I prefer these over regular earbuds, which can seal you off completely, and on a hiking trail, that could genuinely be a threat to your survival, or at the very least, to your dignity. They are lightweight, and the earbuds do a great job of staying put thanks to the hook. The battery lasts 36 hours, which outlasts my will to go uphill by a lot, and the sound quality...
36? Mine lasts like less than 10. 36? Are you serious? Hey, you should go buy them now. That's pretty good.
Is also great. They are the kind of thing where once you have a pair, you might start thinking about who else in your life will like them. Mother's Day is right around the corner, and if your mom is someone who is always on walks or glued to a podcast, I'm just saying, these could be a very easy win for you. Plus, you get a 30-day guarantee, so there is no risk either way. If you're interested in checking them out, go to buyraycon.com/backgroundopen open to get 15% off. Thanks again to Raycon for sponsoring this video. Now back to the behind-the-scenes special. The show doesn't come out until the end of this year, and we have zero connection to any of these actors, so that is clearly just HBO going, hey, you remember how much you love this world? And look, to be fair, the sets, costumes, animatronics, art, it all looked very beautiful, but that was never really my concern. The problem is that the people actually building this world are beholden to the people at the top. The writers, casting directors, and decision makers, and by choosing to retell a story we already have a recent version of, really, the only way to justify it would be to fully honor the source material and bring out all of the special details from the books that the movies were not able to. This is something they have said is a top priority, yet they have chosen to fundamentally change how we perceive one of the most important characters in the story, which brings us to the Snape casting. Now, I personally have nothing against this actor, okay? I am sure he is very talented, but if the...
Isn't that a bit problematic? I swear, the entire first movie, doesn't Harry Potter go around thinking that Snape has been trying to steal the Philosopher's Stone? Isn't that I mean, that's interesting. Okay. That's a bit weird, no?
Entire justification for retelling this story so soon is we're going to be more faithful to the books. Snape is clearly described in them, and they chose someone who is his polar opposite. Literally, just look at that charming smile. So, right out of the gate, the book faithfulness argument kind of falls apart on its own, and then it starts to make you question what other changes they've decided to make to the story. On top of that, many fans have pointed out the weird racial elements this introduces for a character that were never meant to be there.
Wait, Snape got bullied in school by Harry's dad? Oh, no way. It's generational over here. What the damn? My goodness. So that means that, oh my goodness. That means that Harry Potter's dad picked on a black kid, and now the entire first movie is Harry Potter just walking around, same kid that grew up and is now a professor, thinking that he stole some shit.
Already had an allegory for racism built right into it, I might add. And people have asked, how could HBO not see this? But I don't think it's like that at all. I think HBO knows exactly what they're doing, and honestly, it is kind of a genius play, because now they get to lecture fans about racism in real life while lecturing your favorite characters about it inside the show itself.
No, you forgot the most important part. Now you get to lecture people about racism by being racist. Now that is a five-head play. Holy shit, that's crazy, no? It's a weird time.
2-for-1 deal, if you will. Marketing team must have popped champagne on this one because it is already all anyone is talking about. But it is not just the casting. There is the J.K. Rowling of it all, who is actually an executive producer on this show. Apparently, she helped pick the showrunner and has worked very closely with the writers. She's visited the set. And yet, John Lithgow, who is playing Dumbledore, went on a podcast trying to distance himself from her and said she's not really involved in this production at all. And even still, people were urging him to walk away.
Oh yeah, that's because of the J.K. Right, there's that J.K. Rowling thing on Twitter, right? Wait, so in essence, doesn't that mean that... Wait, are they doing like a woke remaster of Harry Potter, but none of the woke people like J.K. Rowling? Isn't that kind of like pretty fascinating strategy? Wait, what? Am I misunderstanding?
You always hear everyone talking about separating the art from the artist, but Hollywood itself seems to have a really hard time doing that. They will use her IP and adapt her life's work, but they need you to know that they don't agree with her first. And when the people making your show can barely acknowledge the person who wrote this story, you have to wonder how faithful an adaptation you are actually going to get. I will be honest with you, this show is probably going to shatter every record HBO has. I mean, I am also going to be watching it, okay? And I just spent 5 minutes telling you why I'm worried about it.
I'm sorry. Confession time. I'm probably going to watch it on an illegal website. I'm just going to say, I'm probably, not 100% chance.
They got me. But that is the whole trick. They know people like me who grew up with this series will have a very hard time not tuning in. Doesn't matter if I think it will be good or not, I just have to know what they did with it. And it is not just John Lithgow with Harry Potter. You see the same kind of embarrassment leaking into the new Tomb Raider.
That's Dumbledore?
So
wait, hold on. Go back. You skipped too quickly. Why does it look like 1920s mafia?
Harry Potter, you see the same kind of embarrassment.
Now, what is that? Tuning fork? What, is he listening to the magic? No, why is he wearing 1920? Dude, the drip of Dumbledore in the first... Oh my goodness. Dumbledore Albus Dumbledore. Look at the drip of the first guy. I'm just saying. Not to be like the drip, like, police over here. But look at his wear. Look at it. And now we get fucking what? Fat Tony outfit. Ah, dude.
Leaking into the new Tomb Raider series too, Sophie Turner was very quick to say that her Lara Croft will not be a bombshell and that it is.
Is that the... Wait, hold on. Is that the girl from Game of Thrones? My goodness. +1. +1 fan over here.
Not about how
bad.
she looks at all,
Holy.
which is very strange considering that is an iconic part of that character. Like, imagine someone getting cast as James Bond and their first interview is, don't worry, he's not going to be cool or suave. I don't know, you think that they were joking. But if you are embarrassed by the thing that you are adapting, why adapt it? But Harry Potter is just the latest one to get the adaptation treatment. This has been happening across the board for years now. The Peter Jackson Lord of the Rings trilogy are some of the greatest movies ever made, created by people who genuinely loved and respected the source material and the author's vision for it, and that is something you could feel in every frame. Then time passes and Amazon comes along, spends...
She misspoke a little bit. She said one of the greatest. She misspoke, she fumbled her words. The greatest. The greatest. Of all time, no exceptions. The trilogy, extended edition, of course.
$1 billion on Rings of Power, and it gives us a hollowed out version of Middle-earth that probably has more in common with a LinkedIn diversity statement than anything Tolkien ever wrote. Now, we have got Hunt for Gollum coming, because apparently that needs to be a whole movie, and a Stephen Colbert and Son Lord of the Rings project, which, look, I know Colbert is a big Tolkien fan, but he's also someone who let his political ideologies take over his own show so hard that his audience left and the show got canceled. For some reason, someone looked at that track record and went, yeah, give him Middle-earth. I'm sure that will work out. It is not just Middle-earth. At this point, you can just run down the list. Star Wars, Marvel, Star Trek, their latest show, Starfleet Academy, aired in January of this year, and just 2 months later, announced its cancellation after reportedly pulling in around 40,000 viewers per episode. I wonder why, but sometimes it...
But I feel like it's the same shit, right? It's just like the same problem over and over where they're making things that the audience don't care about. I wonder if I could boil it down to really those simple terms. That it's just simply they're not making what people want to watch. As technology advances and as things become like the individual become more and more capable, assuming we don't destroy ourselves with nuclear war, I do wonder if we're going to hit a tipping point where the sort of like YouTuber-esque type of person can enter into the Hollywood sphere, if that makes sense. You get what I'm saying? Like, I wonder how long are we away from utilizing different types of AI and systems and, well, just like technological developments where you can make Hollywood level productions as an individual. You know what I'm saying? Because once we make that tipping point, once we kind of get over that, holy, all the proper remakes will be made. I swear they will be. Oh my goodness.
Is not just laziness, it is active contempt for the source material, and maybe the most telling example of that is The Witcher on Netflix. Henry Cavill loved Geralt so much that he campaigned to play him. The man would correct people on lore. That is how much he cared about it, and the writers openly admitted that they did not like the books that they were adapting. So you have a lead actor who loves it, audiences that love it, a source material that is beloved, and the people actually steering the ship could not be bothered with any of it. They drove...
I watched the first season of The Witcher. Beautiful. I watched the second one, I gave up. But the first one was beautiful. I mean, my goodness, can I get some applause for that performance?
about the one man in the room who actually cared, and the show fell apart almost immediately. Then there's Wuthering Heights. The director took the classic English literature, openly admitted she half remembered it, cut the entire second half, and just made a modernized version of something that she wanted to tell instead. Why even do that at all? Just call it something else.
I'm not the demographic for this
she can't, because Wuthering Heights is worth an $83 million opening weekend. Her original idea probably is not. But that is the pattern. These studios can't get you in the door with their own ideas, so they need the franchise names. But then they get the keys and immediately go, well, actually, we know better. They fix it, they inject whatever they want into it, they adapt it for the modern audience, and like clockwork, it starts to fall apart. Because there really are only two ways to approach someone else's story. You either show up asking, how do I do this justice? Or you show up asking, how can I make this fit my worldview? And I think it is pretty clear which one we keep on getting. But alright, that is a lot of doom and gloom. I do actually want to talk about an adaptation that I think nailed it recently, and I almost didn't watch it because I have been burned way too many times. I'm not gonna lie to you, after season 8 of Game of Thrones and House of the Dragon season 2, I was pretty much done with the Game of Thrones universe. So when people started raving about A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms, I thought they were all fibbing. But like a moth,
I've heard so much good stuff about this one. I've heard so much good stuff about this. A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. I've heard so much good stuff about this story. I watched the Game of Thrones original, like the 8 seasons. Disappointed with the last one, I'm not gonna lie. Sorry there. Sorry. But also watched the first season, maybe 2 seasons of House of Dragons. Kind of went like, I love the female actor though. The beautiful one who was blonde. Loved it. But the show just didn't do it for me, I'm not gonna lie. But now people are starting to talk big talks about this guy over here. A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. If it keeps getting recommended like this, man, maybe I have to give it a shot.
To a flame, I dipped back into the world and I was completely blindsided by how much I loved it. The shooting on location, the great casting choices, the dialogue that sounds like actual people and not a writer's room full of people trying to sound smart. Now, episode 5 did lose me a bit with that 20-minute flashback. I will not lie. But overall, the episodes leave you wanting more. It probably cost a fraction of what House of the Dragon cost, and I enjoyed it 1,000 times more. But the real reason this show works is that the people making it clearly thought George R.R. Martin's story was already good enough. They didn't try to fix Dunk, they didn't modernize him or complicate his heroism or even treat his protectiveness as something toxic that he needed to outgrow. He is just a big, good-hearted, heroic man, and the show is fully behind him on that. He is not a chosen one or has a special prophecy or a secret bloodline. He is just a nobody taken in by a head knight trying to be the type of man that knight raised him to be. And then there is Egg, who is honestly just the cutest, but he is also so—
His name is Egg? Nah, they did my man dirty. They did my man dirty. Just because he's a bit more aerodynamic than the rest, you had to call him the Egg, huh?
So endearing and smart. The show lets you root for both of them, and the brotherhood and found family energy taps into one of the oldest traditions that we have in fantasy. I truly am a sucker for the hero's journey, and I am patiently waiting for season 2. I just hope that they can keep up what they built, because it has been a long time since I have felt this way about a modern fantasy series. And Knight isn't the only one getting it right recently. Netflix's live-action One Piece had every reason to be a disaster. Typically, live-action anime adaptations have maybe the worst track record in all of entertainment, but
is that Usopp?
Netflix brought on Oda, the actual creator of the manga, as an executive producer. He was very involved in casting and had a huge say in the show, and the fans have just loved it. Compare that to something like Cowboy Bebop, where it felt like they were somehow embarrassed by the original, and it shows. Even the Super Mario movies, Nintendo was heavily involved. First one made $1.36 billion. The sequel, which I haven't seen yet, just opened to $372 million globally. Project Hail Mary, the original author, was involved as a producer, and also—
I've heard so much good things about Project Hail Mary. Never even seen it. I wonder if I should. I know, like, a lot of people love his book. But I don't know.
on record saying that focusing on making a good movie and avoiding crappy identity politics has aided in its success. They're already past 420 million. It's funny how that works. If you are adapting something, it is rarely a bad idea to have the people who created and or love the source material in the room with you, and yet somehow that is still the exception and not the rule. But unfortunately, the bar should not be, they respected the source material and didn't try to fix the story. That should just be the default. And even with the ones that do get it right, I'm not going to pretend I'm a fan of Hollywood in general. From celebrities who hate us but still need us to buy tickets, to flying out to island and then lecturing us about morality and wondering why nobody wants to sit through 2 hours of being preached at. On top of that, these people have access to all of the money, all of the resources, and all the talent in the world. HBO is reportedly spending up to $100 million an episode on Harry Potter. Amazon, as we know, spent $1 billion on Rings of Power. Disney spends anywhere between 200 and 300 million per live action remake. You have access to the best craftspeople, the best technology, budgets that filmmakers 20 years ago would not have even dreamed of, and you are using all of it to make worse versions of stories that already exist. We saw 40,000 people show up for Starfleet Academy, maybe, and 26 million for A Knight of the Seven Kingdoms. The audience isn't tired of these stories. They are tired of watching them get handed to people who think that they are
26 million? That's insane, no?
Above them. But when someone gets it right, people will show up every single time. Because at the end of the day, all any of us really want is to love these stories the way we used to. But it's pretty difficult when it's so often...
All we want is just a good movie with no bullshit in it. Is that... I'm sorry. Can I get... Dude, it's like going to a bar, be like, hey, can I get a beer? Oh, but we do have tequila colada balada. No, I want a beer. Oh, but what about this cocky cocktail over here with a 3 shrimp prawn producer? No, I just want a fucking beer, right? And I feel like it's a lot here too. I feel like it's the same thing with modern movies. I just want a beer, bro. Can I just have a normal one? Can I just have like, oh my god, I just want something that isn't... Okay, this is what I want. You're listening, Hollywood, this is what I want. I want no fucking politics. None. No, it's nada. Zero politics. And an original story. That's all I want.
And the people in charge of making them have contempt for both the stories and the people who love them. If you made it to the end of this video, thank you so much for being here. I would love to know what you think about everything. Are you going to be checking out the new Harry Potter series? Let me know in the comments below. Thank you so much, and I'll see you in the next one.
GG, good movie. Good video.